In today's video, I wanted to talk about times when tapping is not at all the solution to your sleep troubles. Yes, you heard me right. I am a big advocate of tapping, and I know it can help us in so many ways. But there are times when it's not the solution for our sleep issues because something else is going on, and we need to address that in order for our sleep to improve and not just try using tapping when we know it's not going to work. So, in this video, I'm going to give you 5 different examples and then a few solutions or tips or tricks for you to kind of start thinking about how you can improve the quality of your sleep. And what else can you do since we know tapping is not going to work? So, for those who don't know me, my name is Carol Richard. I am the founder of the Sleep Success Academy, where we help sleep deprived individuals really try to get the best quality sleep they can. We do this by looking at their emotional well being, their habits, their behaviors, and also their mindset. If you haven't done so already, go to my website, sleepsuccessacademy.com. About halfway through on the homepage, you can get a copy of my sleep guide, 5 action steps to improve the quality of your sleep. And then you will get notified via email every time a video is posted. And at the same time, you can click subscribe on this video, and then you will get notified through YouTube as well. All right, so what are these 5 areas or these 5 examples actually that I'm talking about when tapping will just not be useful? So first example is when we've had too much caffeine. So for those who don't know, when we have a cup of coffee, 50% of the caffeine stays in our brain for up to 8 hours afterwards. So if you have a cup of coffee, I say at noon, and then you have another one around 3 or 4 in the afternoon to try to keep yourself going at work, then around midnight, you still have quite a bit of caffeine floating in your brain. So no amount of tapping will actually decrease the caffeine, the stimulant that's in your brain. So that is one time that just start looking at your caffeine intake during the day and nothing after noon. That's what the cutoff that I have for me. If it's 12 o'clock on the clock, I will not drink the caffeine. Even if I'm halfway through my cup, I found myself doing this the other day. I'm like, oh, it's 12:01. I just dump the coffee down the sink. I've just decided that that was my cutoff. I could have finished a cup. I probably would have been fine and slept that night, but it was just a way for me to reinforce that I know that I'm sensitive to caffeine, so I don't want to drink it past noon because I know it will keep me awake and no amount of tapping is going to help me. So that was number one. Number two is not having enough sleep drive built in. So our sleep drive is like, I like to explain it as like a bucket, right? So we have this bucket and all day we put all this stuff in to build our sleep drive so our body is tired enough to go to sleep. And so if we don't have enough sleep drive built in, then it's really hard to go to sleep. Things that can take away from our sleep drive bucket are things like napping. So naps aren't good or bad. If you're having a 20-minute nap, or if you're not feeling well and you need a nap because you need more rest than usual, then naps are really good. But if you're napping 2 or 3 hours in the afternoon, then it's not going to be easy to fall asleep when it's time to go to bed because your body will not have enough sleep drive built in order to fall asleep. So just being mindful of if you're napping or not. And I have a whole video on how to build your sleep drive. So maybe we'll link that in the comments and you can go watch that video as well. Number 3 is constantly working over our capacity. So what I mean by this is we have a certain limit of our capacity. So whether it be how much stress we can handle, how many hours in a day we have, how many emails we can answer, like there's a limit of what we can do and still feel grounded and present and capable of handling life. And when that comes too much, then we get overwhelmed, we have anxiety, we get all these emotions or sensations building up, and we might be like crankier with people because we're over our capacity. So tapping is really great to bring us back into a regulated state. But if we keep doing overcapacity day after day after day after day, there's only so much tapping can do without us actually changing something that we're doing. So if it's too much work, maybe it's talking with your supervisor and asking them to like look at your workload. If it's at home, maybe it's getting some support with the chores around the house. If it's the kids with too many activities, maybe it's just a discussion with the kids to say, are we going to do 2 activities instead of 4? Whatever it takes, And maybe it's going to bed at night without doing the dishes because you just don't have any capacity left to actually clean up a sink full of dishes, and you're going to do that in the morning instead. So it's really looking at what our capacity is and adjusting ourselves, knowing too that capacity can change from day to day. There's a day I might have less capacity because I'm not feeling well. And so maybe for 3 or 4 days, I do less. And then when I have more capacity, I can do more. But it's really, tapping can help with feeling over capacity as long as we do something else to change it, not just keep thinking I'm going to tap 10 minutes every night and then I can keep going at the fast pace, because that is not going to help. So number 4 was having constant noise or stimulation in our sleep environment. So tapping is not going to help with that, because me tapping on my husband's frustration with his snoring is not going to make him stop snoring. I tried, it didn't work. And so if there's constant noise in our sleep environment, yes, our sleep's going to be broken, because even though we're sleeping, we can still hear. And it's not good quality sleep. So how can you look at your environment and make it so that it's quieter for sleep? So an example is me and my husband, we now sleep in separate bedrooms because his snoring was really disrupting my sleep. And then I was disrupting his sleep because I kept kicking him all night because I couldn't sleep. So we were two cranky people. And since we've been sleeping in separate bedrooms, we're actually a happier couple. And we want to spend time together now because we're not so resentful of the other person having so much sleep. Other things could be maybe you have housemates or just other people in the house that aren't being very respectful when you're trying to go to sleep. Maybe it can be a conversation with them to just kind of keep the noise down when you're trying to sleep. So we had to do this with our kids, that we went to bed early and they were quiet when we went to bed. But in the morning when we woke up, we really made sure to stay quiet as well until they woke up. It was a mutual respect of, I go to bed early, but they sleep in later, because we just had different sleep cycles, and that was okay. But we had that respect of, we will keep things quiet for them in the morning, but they have to keep things quiet for us in the evening. So those are examples of what you can do to make sure your sleep environment is quiet. And the last one where tapping really won't help is when our circadian rhythm is dysregulated because of working shift work. Unfortunately, I don't really have an answer to people that work shift work, because it has to do with the inconsistency of our sleep schedule. And they never, like, sometimes they're awake for like 24 hours, or I don't even know, 18 hours before they can actually go to sleep. And then they're like trying to do a night shift and then a day shift. And it just gets really complicated and it gets confusing on the circadian rhythm. And so tapping might help you with the frustration of it, but it won't help you go to sleep if you don't have enough sleep drive built in, especially if you've been drinking caffeine because you're trying to stay awake through your night shift because you want to stay alert, but then you get home and you have all this stimulant in your brain. So it's hard to use tapping when the issue is you being a shift worker. So those was just 5 different examples that came up to the top of my head when I was thinking of doing this video. I'm sure there are different ones as well. I'd love to hear a comment from you where you've tried to use tapping before and it didn't work. And maybe we can have a back and forth of why is that? Because it could just be something else that is affecting your sleep, and tapping just won't be the solution. And there's no right or wrong. It's just knowing that it's not the right solution for the specific problem we're trying to fix. So that's it for today. If you think this video would help any of your friends, just please forward the link along to them so that they can also get to enjoy and learn from these tidbits as I come across them. And that's it for today.